Flying may be the safest form of travel for most people wanting to get away, but given the rise in the number of air-related accidents, many still believe it's too dangerous. Imagine going through a turbulence as your stomach begins to churn, softly praying you make it through. An experience that makes even the bravest flyers grip their armrest. From half-mile runways to mountain ranges and oceans, here we have 10 of the most dangerous airports in the world. But before we continue, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Let us know in the comment section below about your flying experiences. Number 10. Gibraltar International Airport, British Overseas Territory. The runway for this airport crosses the main road across the British Overseas Territory, and consequently, traffic has to be closed every time a plane lands or departs. Construction works are currently underway for a tunnel in order to reduce traffic jams as a result. However, the main issue for pilots comes from the strong winds surrounding the rocks of Gibraltar that make landings here particularly uncomfortable. A number of diversions are common, especially in winter. Number 9. Princess Juliana Airport, St. Martin. It is perhaps the most famous on the list of airports, with the public beach located just before the runway. As the plane descends, it greets beachgoers with an unpleasant gush of sand and wind. Hitting visitors isn't the issue for pilots though. Their main concern is the short runway, only 2,179 meters in length. This may sound like a pretty long runway. However, when you take into consideration that most large aircraft require more than 2,500 meters to ensure a safe landing, it's enough to make the best pilots sweat a little. Number 8. Toncontin Airport, Honduras. This airport serves for both civil and military purposes. Surrounded by giant mountains, the airport has seen over 14 accidents related to its short airstrip, the hilly terrain, bad weather conditions, and human error. To facilitate takeoffs and landings, the single runway was extended by 300 meters in 2010, but still isn't enough to ensure the airport's safety. In 1989, a Boeing commercial plane crashed into a mountainside on approach, killing 132 people. At least 5 more planes have since followed suit and crashed in or around the airport. Number 7. Narsarsuaq Airport, Greenland. Greenland is certainly not as green as it sounds. In fact, it's quite white and icy. Similar to Antarctica, the airports in Greenland are cold and covered in ice. This makes for a rather difficult landing. With a runway coated in slick ice and over 1,800 meters in length, landing is incredibly stressful. If the ice isn't trying enough, constant stormy weather creates intense turbulence and low visibility on approach, and the nearby active volcano erupts, sending ash into the sky frequently, threatening to stall and ruin engines. Number 6. Wellington International Airport, New Zealand. This busy airport features a single runway stretching 2,081 meters and appears to start and end in the ocean. The airport is known to have a reputation for rough and turbulent landings due to the channeling effect, which creates strong and gusty winds, making it extremely difficult for pilots to maneuver landings, and can sometimes turn flying into a hair-raising experience for passengers. Number 5. Tenzing-HILLARY Airport, Nepal. Before you can climb Mount Everest, you have to be brave flying to this dangerous airstrip first. Because of its location, it's susceptible to various weather conditions, like high winds, changing visibility, and cloud covers. That often leads to delayed flights or closed airports altogether. The flight demands courage and precision to land in the 527-meter strip, the steep 2,000-foot drop at one end. Instead of radar, air traffic controllers use a voice communication system. In April last year, Nepal experienced a massive earthquake, but still managed to remain open. Number 4. Madeira International Airport, Portugal. This airport is listed as one of the most dangerous airports in the world for its narrow runway. The no-way-out landing strip is sandwiched between steep cliffs and the ocean. Soon, After the accident in 1977, where 161 people lost their lives, the lengthening of the runway began. The bridge-like airstrip has now been extended to 2,777 meters long, supported by 180 pillars. Large aircrafts can land here, but only if operated by a select few specially trained pilots. Number 3. JUANCHO YRAUSQUINS Airport, Saba Island. Well known for being King Kong's movie island, it has a runway of only 400 meters in total length. This makes it the world's shortest commercial airport runway. The airport is wedged on a rocky outcrop at the foot of a mountain, with jagged terrain on one side and cliffs dropping into the sea at the other end, so any landing here is a nerve-wracking challenge. Number 2. Courchevel Airport, France. This airport is situated on mountainous terrain that caters to helicopters and smaller aircraft serving the French ski resort. The runway is extremely short, only 537 meters. Planes need to go downhill for takeoffs and uphill for landings. And there's a steep approach too. The runway doesn't have any lighting aids, and given the weather in the French Alps, low clouds and fog will make landing impossible and extremely dangerous. Only privately owned aircraft are allowed to land at the airport. Commercial jets are prohibited. Number 1. Paro International Airport, Bhutan. What can you expect of an airport that has less than 20 pilots qualified to even land on it? Sitting atop a magnificent 2,225 meters above sea level, this pilot's nightmare is surrounded by intimidating mountains, approximately 5,486 meters high. In addition to rough weather conditions that do not allow for easy landing, in fact, landing is allowed only during the day, the runway is not even in clear vision of the pilot and requires the airplane to be maneuvered a steep 45 degrees before drastically dropping onto the runway.